Good afternoon, only just everybody. How are you? Good. So Ruben introduced me incredibly well, way better than I could wish anybody introduced me. So I won't spend on time on who I am, but I'll spend time on feelings and emotions instead because I think they're very powerful. And we've been talking about emotions pretty much all morning. And there's a story worth sharing. Speaking has become something that I do quite a lot of. And this is by far the most important event that I've ever spoke at. About, 4.5, 5 years ago, we were in this very auditorium for the retailer Google event. And at the end of the session, we were making our way out. And I felt incredibly inspired, and I gave myself a goal. And I thought, I really want to speak on that stage one day. But I was scared. I mean, it was such a big goal, totally out of reach. And I was with our agency, Google at the time, and I nudged her and I said, one day I'll speak on this stage, ho ho, and we both chuckled. Because the goal seemed so big that I couldn't possibly declare it in seriousness. And so, when Google called me, all that emotion came rushing back. And I think it embodies the importance of giving ourselves big goals that stretch us, and they make us uncomfortable. And then obviously work very hard for it. But I think today, for me particularly, means really never stop believing in ourselves, which is why this is so important for me. The second reason why this is important is because of the audience. So normally I speak to smaller agencies or businesses or retail brands. And the expectation that is always that we are there to educate. We are there to coach or we are there to mentor. The expectation is that we know more than they do. Now this is very different today because this room is filled with the highest achieving agencies in the EMEA. And so I come with a totally different attitude, of course, because some of you may be even ahead of where we are. Some of you may be more or less where we are, and some of you may be slightly behind, but nonetheless, we are all peers. So the attitude is very different. I love to be the kickstarter of a conversation that takes place in the next 30 minutes because they gave me the stage. But I think my dream for today is that we extend this conversation outside of the room, and not only today, but in the days, weeks, and months to come. Because what I think we're doing here is we figured out something at Genegolf that worked, and something that didn't work. And I'm providing one small piece of a tiny, big puzzle. I know that you all have a piece of that puzzle, and I think if we get together, we might figure out a picture. I think alone we're not going to get anywhere, but together we can kick ass to the rest of the world. So this is my premise, this is my hope. And with that, there is a concept that I think is very important and allows Genegolf to be a little bit competitive and kind of get ahead of some other consultancies. And to illustrate that point, I'm going to make you all very uncomfortable, apart from those that saw me speak before, who are not allowed to partake, by the way. To do that, I need a volunteer to come on stage. This is the moment where the room goes silent. But we cannot continue without a volunteer. So I'm a stubborn Italian, I'm not going to continue. I cannot continue without a volunteer. So I need a volunteer. I can't see a hand. There's a hand there. There you go. Who was the first one? Okay, please come on stage. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give this person a round of applause. I can't see who this person is. Where is she or he? Come on, come down. There you go. She's trying to get out of the seat. Okay. Takes guts. Because what I didn't say, I forgot that in my spare time, I'm a stage hypnotist. Come on here, come on. Look into my eyes. Thank you very much.
No problem.
What is your name?
Delise.
Delise. And what agency are you from?
I lead.
I lead. Give it another applause, ladies and gentlemen. So the first is a gift, is my book. This could either be a gift or a burden. You be the judge.
Thank you.
But to take that risk away, I also have 2 €10 notes, which will definitely add to the value of this evening, right?
Right.
Okay, is that fair?
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. May I?
it?
Yes, but you dropped one. There you go.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Is that it?
You may take your seat.
Okay.
I see a few people going, shit, I should have gone up. I read your lips. That was easy, somebody said. It was easy. And it took us a while to actually convince one of you. The other gentleman raised my hand is my friend.
I want to have euros.
There you go. So the euros, the book and so on, are, I think, symbolic of opportunities. If you look at behavioral science, studies show that human beings don't take risks anymore. So we have the technology, we have the studies, we have the support, but we don't take risks anymore. So the lady got up. Why didn't you get up? And I get it. I wouldn't get up. I don't get up most of the times. We don't get up. But then we lose opportunities. When I wrote this book, I interviewed an incredible amount of agencies, small and large. And the one thing that came out is that people were afraid of risks. What if we lose this? What if we lose this? What if we break that? What if we break the other? And I think if we don't take risks, we're never going to get anywhere. This is a risk for me. This is the most important audience that I will ever speak to. And it's much easier to not do it. There's plenty of excuses, but we're not going to go anywhere. So this concept was illustrated the same way that I illustrated to you, to me a few years ago. And it made a massive impact because now at Genigols we learn to fix the plane as we fly sometimes and to take action, which I think is not elegant, because sometimes we make mistakes, but it's probably the most important asset that we have, the ability to just take risks. Today, to not leave you in this very dangerous position, I'm going to share something that should allow you, it definitely allowed us, to take risks without really burning or crushing, by creating a soft landing area if things don't go well. Because the concept I'm trying to illustrate is this. Action really is the mother of all achievements. Without action, we can have the best resources, but we're not going to get anywhere. Now, everybody talked about change today. I think we are here to talk about change. Change is big, and there are few changes that affect us directly as agencies. So I named a few, but there are many more. The first one is insourcing. I think the gentleman from Forrester touched on insourcing. Remember the year of mobile? It's been a year of mobile for 15 years, right? Then 1 year it was. Insourcing is very different. We felt it, we saw a little bit, and then it took over. It really happens. We had 3 clients this year who are insourcing, 2 of whom told us at the moment of signing they were going to insource. They told us it was an interim solution to use an agency. So it's certainly happening. And what we did as a way to respond was to start offering training services and consultancy services and in-house services. The second change is definitely technology. We talked about that as well. Technology is changing the way agencies work. From automation to optimization, is changing the skill set, and I think is really affecting the way we need to serve our clients. And lastly, which I know that you're all sick and tired to hear, but unfortunately we can't ignore Brexit and the effect that it has on economy. One of our unique selling points is internationalization. We have 13 in-house languages, native. Before Brexit, we put out an ad. In 3 weeks, we get 30 applicants. Now we put out an ad. In 3 months, we get 2. So it's definitely affecting us. We need to change. We need to do something about that. Now, change is what we're talking about. And when writing the book, most people think of change or the approach to change as either or, reactive or proactive. Now, reactive really implies that you're busy killing fires and playing catch up and being late. Now, this is a room filled with the highest achieving agencies in the world. I don't think that being reactive and playing catch up fits in well. There is a place where that does, where they're killing a lot of fires and playing a lot of catch up and doing very badly at it, but it is in this room. You have to read the disclaimer. That's why I'm taking my time. But on the other side of the coin, you have people that think you have to be proactive. You have to be a visionary. Now, that sounds very good. But if you look at the definition of visionary, it's full of words like imagination, dream state, illusions. Yeah, but Steve Jobs, yes, Steve Jobs. For everyone, Steve Jobs, there are hundreds of thousands that crushed very badly and burned. So I don't think that aiming to be a visionary, it's a strategy that we can rely on. I don't think it's safe. So what we did at Genigols in terms of change, and we changed a lot, was to try and think of change as being prepared to change. If we are prepared to change, that we can change our approach, but really keep our core values and goals. So what I'm going to share with you in the next 19 minutes is exactly what we did that allowed us to be prepared for change. It comes down to 4 main pillars: the why, the what, the plan, and the people. I'll touch briefly on each, and then I'll love to dig deeper outside, because I know that for every piece of the puzzle that I give you, you give me 5, because we contribute to each other. So I'd love to know what you think, but for now, let me tell you what we think these 4 pillars did for us. The why is basically the mission. Why do we do what we do? It is the reason beyond the commercial reasons. It is the petrol for the car, yeah? You have to put petrol in the car, but you don't buy the car so you can fill it up with petrol, right? So when, again, writing the book, most agencies that I interviewed had a goal that had to do with growth, with money, with customers, with staff. Now, we entrepreneurs and agency leaders make one massive big sin, which is to expect our employees to love our business as much as we do. And then they don't, and we get upset. I think that's, and I made this mistake for most of my life. Now, I think that's silly, because if they did love it as much as you do, then there's a problem, right? I think what's more realistic is to have them love it as much as possible in the context of being an employee. Now, what we can do is to move them from, I really only do it for the money, I don't really care, to, I really am engaged in this company, I wanted to succeed because I love working here. And to do that, I don't think that a commercial reason to do what we do works. So if we had more time, which we don't, I will give you a quiz, but we don't. So in your mind, take a couple of seconds to try and guess who said what I'm going to show you. If you're brave enough, in the name of taking risks, then just shout out the name if you want. Ready? Ready? Yes. Good stuff. Go. To organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Google, of course. Well done. 2, accelerate the world's transition to sustainable transport. It's not Uber. Elon Musk, Tesla. Well done. You guys rock. Number 3, be Earth's most centric, or customer-centric company to build a place where people can come to find and discover anything they might want to do online. What a mouthful. Whether you agree that they're doing that or not, this is playing up. Anyways, doesn't matter. So to figure out our own mission, we had to take a trip to Italy. We took the senior management team to Lake Como in this villa, off-season. We locked ourselves in for... Oh, can you do that again? Oh. Anyways, we brought millions of Post-its. We brought a few flip chart paper rolls and this book. Anybody read it? Yeah, so designed to take an idea from idea to prototype in 5 days. We didn't have 5 days, we had 3.5. And what we did, we put Post-its everywhere that would take it. We followed the process right to the letter, and we worked out our critical questions. What could go wrong? What should we do if that happens? Who do we want to become? We questioned even our own name, right? And at the end of this process, we came up with a mission, which is to revolutionize digital marketing for great retail customers. Sounds romantic, but it doesn't want to be. It is very meaningful. Revolutionize only means that we work best. We get a kick when we work with customers whose account is in need. If we audit an account and the account is already 8 or 9 out of 10, we don't really get a good kick. And we prefer to work with accounts where our impact will make a massive shift and will move the needle incredibly. Great retail brands only means that we need to either love the brand already or learn to love it. Personal story, a friend of my family was destroyed by gambling. Nothing wrong with the gambling industry, but I've got a personal experience, and therefore we made a decision to not work in that space. That's what it means. And retail customers, for us, only means that we only work in retail. We don't play in finance or travel. Now, this is a screenshot of our website today. This is what our customers and potential customers see as soon as they land. That mission shapes everything that we do. It shapes the decisions that we make in terms of hiring, investment, customers that we take, and it all came from that trip 5 years ago. So the point here is that it's really worth it to take the time and involve the team and go and figure out why do you do what you do. You don't have to take 3 or 5 days. There's a tool in here that will allow you to do it in 1 day. But if you haven't done it, and again, this is a wonderful room, an incredible professional, so you might have. But if you didn't, then I think this will really make a difference. The second is the what. Because out of that mission, there comes also an internal mission, which is more to do with the staff. We wanted to create a place where people love to come and work. And my dream is that if we had to close the office for 2 or 3 weeks for relocation, I love to think that the staff would be sad because they miss it. And that is to do with what do we do. Because I think if we do things that we're proud of, then we can achieve that level of happiness a lot more quickly. So the what really comes down to 3 questions. Is what do you do, what's remarkable, and what problem do we solve? So here's what we looked at. We used to talk about we do PPC, we do digital marketing, we do shopping. And we switched there to a 40, 50-second elevator speech that we would tell a customer, which describes in more detail what we do as an agency that is a bit different. Now, if what you do is not really defining you as a unique selling points, then maybe it is time to try and review what you do. Now, there is an entire article on this where we also looked at examples of agencies that do it very well and agencies that do it very badly, looking at their collaterals. So if you feel like it, you can read the article and see what we mean. But there are many agencies, and we were one of them for many, many years, talking about we do PPC, we do digital marketing, and that doesn't really mean anything to our customers. The second thing is what's remarkable. And a lot of people think that I mean what is remarkable externally. What do your customers feel is remarkable? This isn't limited to just your customers. This is more to do with what's remarkable in your own eyes. So we all know these 2 companies, and we all have ideas about these 2 companies. But what I personally like about Google is something that a lot of you might not know. And I'm going to be upset in the European team here. But in the US, if you are a Google employee and you pass away, touch wood, your spouse will get half of your salary for 10 years. In Mountain View, they rent goats to mow their lawn for their green initiative. Now, these are things that if I was a Google employee would make me very proud to work there. They've got nothing to do with commercials, but they will make me very proud. That's remarkable stuff. Zappos, they say that they are focused on customer service, but actually, when a lady had to return the shoes because she had an hypersensitivity issue with her feet, not only did they take the shoes, but they sent her a get well soon card with a bunch of flowers. I mean, if you are a Zappos employee, that must make you feel good, right? And it's the difference between being not engaged in a company and doing it for the money and loving the place that you work. And I think that for us, that made a big difference. Some people argued with me, correctly, that these are big guys, they can afford it. But it's not just the big guys. Anybody heard of Rev? So if you do meetings or if you write, Rev is a great company. It's an app. You speak into the app, you press a button, it goes to somebody to get transcribed. 24 hours later, you get a transcription. If you rate it at 3 or below in a scale of 1 to 5, they will change the professional for you. Cape to Cuba, it's a restaurant in Cape Town, South Africa, tiny, where everything in the restaurant, from the chairs that you sit on, the table that you eat at, is for sale, apart from the waiters and the waiters. And the manager. Sorry. The paintings are for sale, everything is for sale. And it's remarkable because it's quirky to the point where an Italian guy in Dublin is talking to you about a South African restaurant. So I think what's remarkable in our business, what makes our people talk internally, what makes them proud of working with us. Lastly, of the what is what problem do we solve? And if I had to pick one, this would be the most important one. I made a mistake for most of my life. Then I had the opportunity to sit with this man, Nick Baton, CEO of ASOS, who told me something I already knew. But maybe he said it in a way that resonated. Maybe he said it at the time that, where I was perceptive, I don't know. But he said you must start with solving a customer problem. And for years we've been talking about, we do PPC and we try to push PPC and shopping and video into the customer's needs. And then we stopped doing that and we tried to think, what problem can we solve? How can we solve even a bigger problem? To the point where we took inspiration from these 2 fellas, Irish guys, the Collison brothers, who solved a massive financial problem to do with e-commerce. Up until they started Stripe, if you wanted to implement a payment gateway on your website, you were limited to your bank solution, clunky and slow, or PayPal. And PayPal was never really built to do that. PayPal was built to send money from friend to friend, really. So they developed a solution, and people argue over the number of lines that the code has. It doesn't matter. But you put a code on your site, and all of a sudden you can take payments at the time where that wasn't really available. It wasn't like today. And they went from 80 employees to 750 in 3 years, and were valued at more than $9 billion. Now, we don't do that without solving a real problem. We're nowhere near that kind of number, of course, but what we did do is to go from talking about PPC and bidding and best practices to talking about multi-channel and margins and client services and solving business problems. Let me give you a concrete example. So we have a client right now. Sorry, you're taking pictures. Go ahead. We have a client right now who is busy trying to decide to re-platform from one platform to onto Spotify, onto Shopify. And obviously, we don't do that. You can try Spotify. We don't do that, but what we did do, we looked at how can we solve this problem. So we asked all our clients who re-platform from anything to Shopify. We had 5 people. We put these people in the same room, and they're solving the problem. So this is what I mean by solving the problem. And for us, it's gone a long way because we have customers who could leave us. We have customers who could have looked everywhere else, but they don't because there is this relationship that is a bit stronger than just the channels that we offer. The third of the 4 points is the plan. And this is where we can even come to a mission in one day. We did our last one about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, and we now have a goal for the next 16 months. Writing the book, 82% of the interviewees didn't set goals. These are businesses. These are businesses doing between 1 and 10 million pounds a year. 82% didn't set any goals. And out of those that did, the vast majority didn't really have a plan to follow through with these goals. So then no wonder that 95% of startups fails, right? So there are many methodologies, many frameworks. We chose OKRs. Anybody knows OKRs? Awesome. Now, OKRs is a framework really brought to our attention by Intel and Google. There is an old article on this URL where you can see the structure, you can see the methodology, you can see the process to set OKRs. But I'll touch at a very high level here. OKR stands for objectives and key results. The objectives should be really inspirational and not contain any numbers, and the key results should be the opposite, should be very measurable, so that you get to the end of the period, you either have done it or you haven't. And for us, it's been a game changer. The point is that it creates alignment across the whole organization because everybody in the business needs to be involved. So it's not just the loud voices, it's not just the C-level, it's not just the boss, because the boss, perhaps not with you, but for us, the boss knows less, right? Everybody else knows a lot more and a lot better, has a lot better ideas than I do most of the times. So it involves everyone in the company. It creates alignment, but also, because of the process, it creates this wonderful set of matrices around that allow you to fall without getting hurt, because you can take risks. Now, as part of the process, you have to go through what I call the critical questions. Basically, what could go wrong? And I put a list here, which I won't read one by one, but you get these slides, of things that we listed. Can we maintain our reputation? Can we keep the staff happy? Can we keep the customers? Can we make a profit? All that stuff. And here, everybody in the company contributes. Everybody in the company puts down what they feel could go wrong. And then you don't really have, or you get rid of most of the bias. Now, the second thing that we do is to work out the how might we's and the themes. These are how might we prevent or solve the critical questions, right? And again, everybody in the organization that is involved do this. For us, it will be different themes. This is about new client acquisition. How can you grow? How can we grow the customer base? How can we keep selling well? How can we profit? And then we went on to margins. How can we deliver in the time that we said? To staff and client retention. So what we're doing here, we are really scrutinizing all the things that could go wrong, and then scrutinizing all the things that we could do to prevent or solve those things. So I hope you can see how, for us, that created an incredible platform where we could really jump and get up, like we did before, without really fearing the fall, because even if we fall, we'll go back up. We'll get back up. Am I making sense? Yes. Good, thank you. Now, these are our 2 objectives for the next 16 months. The one thing that we learned the hard way was focus. Last year, we set 6 OKRs. We did very poorly. This year, we decided to focus on 2. One is about client acquisitions, and the word awesome in that has got a lot of meaning. We actually did a survey internally to understand what awesome actually means to our staff. And the second is more about delivering. Can we deliver at a margin and in a way that keeps our reputation and quality of service? So these are our 2 OKRs. In the link that I shared, you will see a lot more detail about that, but I'll strongly invite you to explore OKRs, or certainly a goal-setting platform that allows you to take risks. Now, the very last of the 4 pillars is the people. Now, Google is known to talk about the people a lot, and I think that if you've been here before, you would have heard a lot of good things about hiring and training and coaching. For me, it comes down to this. It comes down to the fact that if you have the right people in the room, and we did. We went through financial difficulties, not because we were short of money, but because maybe sales were not good. We went through difficulties with clients where for a while maybe we lost more clients than we wanted to, or we couldn't sell more. We went through real hard times. But we did it with people that generally are part of our family. And so when you do that, when you go through trouble with people that you love, then you come out the other side and you scream victory, and you have good memories. The flip side of that is that you can sit on a pile of opportunities and golden opportunities, but you do it with the wrong people, you regret every single day of your life. That is why the richest and most successful people are not necessarily the happiest people, quite the opposite. There is one incident, the only one that I can recall, where we hired a lady that wasn't the devil, by the way, but she wasn't aligned with us at all. And those 2 weeks really hurt when I think about it. Way more than maybe 2 or 3 months where we were busy trying to fix a problem internally. We learned very quickly that the people are very important. And so we do a lot. We have a bigger people team than we have a sales team. Because the purpose of this is that I feel we owe it to ourselves and to them to go to the office or send them an email like I do many times, and genuinely being able to tell them, I love you all. That's it. Thank you.